Ready?
Mm-hmm.
So, tell me a little bit about yourself.
My name is Carmen Tochniuk. I grew up in a small town out in Alberta, a little town called Whitecourt, and I got interested in understanding what I should be eating by the age of 8 years old. So by 8 years old, I was wondering why my sister could lose weight and I would gain weight eating the exact same stuff. So, big interest in trying to learn about food. So ever since that age, I've been intrigued with figuring out what works for me personally. And then later on in my career, when I became a personal trainer, I became very interested in trying to figure out what works for each individual. And I wasn't happy with all the answers I was finding out there. Every single course I took, university courses, college courses, or even courses online, were just simply cookie cutter ideals and equations that you would use to figure out what worked for everybody. But really, I was starting to pick up on a problem because it wasn't working for everybody. Actually, it was making some people ill. It was making some people mentally ill, even, I've noticed over those years. When I was going to school out in Saskatchewan, a private school called Notre Dame, I started studying genetics. And that intrigued me because I started to learn that there would be a possibility that in our lifetime, we would understand each and every person on an individual basis by understanding their DNA. And that's when it really started. So the rest is history pretty much, but I dove deep into understanding anything and everything to do with genetics. I was 19 years old. By the age of 23, I started getting more interested in figuring out what worked for each individual, but still, the human genome was not cracked and maybe wasn't going to be cracked in our lifetime, but I still had hope. By the age of 24, I got introduced to Lyle Oberg, the previous health minister, and we had an opportunity to open up the very first private sequencing company for public use for DNA. And that's where it started, truly. We had 3 genes that we could understand. And I saw the light. I thought, wow, everybody's going to want to know these 3 genes. How wouldn't they want to know this information? And from there, we went on to understanding more and more and more. And now we're here today. I think we're 16 years later. And we're looking at several different areas of the human genome. And going back to who I am, I've dedicated my whole life to understanding health and fitness for myself and to help other people. And I believe that DNA and understanding your DNA is the very first step that everybody should be understanding. So I hope that I can encourage everybody to take that personal responsibility rather than waiting for a doctor or a healthcare provider to say that you need this done, because unfortunately it's not mainstream yet. And that's probably the most frustrating thing for me to keep trying to filter through, is trying to help people to understand that we can't depend on our doctors. They're doing the best they can with what they have. And unfortunately, they can't offer DNA testing yet. So we can. So I hope that I can encourage people and motivate people to be preventative and understand their own DNA so that they can make more insightful decisions for their future to be healthier, happier, sexier, fitter, with less chronic pain, disease, and illness. And ultimately, when you understand your biological roadmap, you can see a clear pathway for yourself. And you can make better decisions for yourself. And you truly can turn on your genetic function. I've seen it for myself, and I've seen it for many, many, many other people. And the other good thing about it is affordable now. When we first started doing DNA testing to do the human genome, it was over $1 million for one person. Okay, so we're looking at hundreds of dollars now to look at key indicator genes that you can actually make a difference in your health and fitness program tomorrow in. And I can't stress enough how important it is to understand yourself more at a deep level and to take responsibility for your health and to stop waiting till you have a problem. Stop waiting until your doctor says, oh my goodness, we got to do something about this. We truly can be preventative with DNA testing.